Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. It's gonna rain today. The trees are blowing around in a little wind and breeze, and the clouds are getting dark. It's just beautiful. It's kind of like when you play like one of those games like Doom or whatever on the computer, and they have those like gray, cloudy skies that are really cool. It's kind of like that. But my spaghetti squash are planted now. They're looking happy and healthy. I killed one I accidentally pulled up from the roots. But I even have a few more spaghetti squash plants downstairs that were just extras that I'll give away. But I got those all planted. And then my watering line is going down the middle. And what I'm going to do is those little 2x4s have two nails in them. And I'm going to mount that. I'll elevate that on those 2x4s and it'll run across there. And it just has little holes drilled in it with a little tiny drill bit, and it squirts the water out so that when those get big, I'll have the ability to water it without walking into them. I still have to walk into them to feed them once a week, but I don't to water them every day. This grass will get covered up with a tarp when these start getting big, and they normally grow out this way, so I'll cover that all up with a tarp. That's why there's extra space over here too, because I kind of grow down this way. So yeah, that's coming. This bed will start to get planted, and this half of this bed will start to get planted. My beans still haven't sprouted as of last night. I'll check them tonight. My onions are happy and getting ready to flower. But yeah, I got 3 coats of paint on the top of this box. Now I got my door painted. I got everything in here. And my door just goes up there and sits on those 2 screws like that and gives it a little extra shelter from the rain. But yeah, everything's going good. Everything's fine. Yeah. My allergies are a little something today. I don't normally have allergies like from pollen and stuff, but this wind out here is kicking some stuff up, so it'll be okay. I don't take any allergy medication or anything. But yeah, there's my beans are still covered with the burlap. So I had a person ask like, why do you use burlap? What's up with the seed rolling? So when a seed starts to sprout, it tries to put its root down and its green part goes up. And if you roll that seed when you water it, that will kill the plant right away. So until it gets its roots good and established, and it does that in a day or two. I mean, it puts down roots so it won't roll. But you can kill it in that meantime when you water it. So you just put some burlap down to help keep those seeds from rolling. And it helps keep the birds out of them too. So that's why I use burlap. That's all in the Mittleider gardening course book. I'll put a link to it on LDS Prepper's store. He helped write that revision of that book, and I think his wife helped too. And I don't know exactly what happened, but I think he had a little bit of a falling out with the people with like Jim Kennard and the other Mittleider gardening people. And I think LDS Prepper is great. He has a great channel. I've watched him forever. So I just put a link to his store. It's the same price and it's autographed. Or at least mine was. I don't know if they all are, but I think they all are. And he also has the Mittleider nutrient packs too that you need to make up your fertilizer. And 1 pack will make like 25 pounds, and you get 2 packs with an order. So you can make 50 pounds of fertilizer with these 2 little mineral packs. And you give your plants everything they need. And you can see I did a weekly feeding on these last week for the first time this year, because these are planted from last fall, and they've grown like 6 inches. I mean, these onions are getting 3 or 4 feet tall. Most people don't grow onions like that. My peppers, I plant them, and by the time I'm shutting the garden down in the fall, they're pepper trees. They're taller than I am. Most people get, 3 or 4 peppers off a bell pepper plant, maybe 20 off of a banana pepper plant. I'll get hundreds. So that's the other thing, is in a Mittleider garden, they look at this and they're like, well, that's not that big. Well, you plant stuff really close together. Those spaghetti squash are 9 inches. And you grow your plants, you give them exactly what they need. And so there's a big difference between your plants having what's called hidden hunger, where they're not showing a sign of a deficiency, but they're just not growing to their maximum capability, right? And then a really productive plant that's getting everything it needs. It's getting all of its essential nutrients. And I think there's like 14 of them, except for what comes from the air. So I think it's like 16 or 17 total nutrients that your plant needs. The book gives examples and pictures of what a plant that has a common nitrogen deficiency looks like, or a calcium deficiency. So you could add a little extra calcium if your plant's like doing really well and it's like, there's not quite enough calcium here. You can identify that quickly because you want to, because they're well past that hidden hunger phase at that time, and they're far from maximum production. But you grow really big, healthy plants, and you get really high yields out of it. And this is about as close as you can come to hydroponic gardening, growing in the dirt or in soil and sawdust, or in sand and sawdust, which is what a lot of people grow in. But everything's looking good out here. I just like to come out in the mornings, give it a look-see, make sure no groundhogs found a way in, right? I do have to reinforce the bottom of this fence. I'm going to do that tonight to make sure I stake these down with garden stakes. I use, I'll show you what I use. Aaliyah Wells actually did a video about making a fence for some animals, and the bunny ran under the fence. Well, I have groundhogs that have run under that fence, and I have these in other places, but I need to put some more in. But these are wire staples. I got these on Amazon. But you just take and hammer that in the ground around the fence, and you can cut it shorter if you can't get it all the way into it. It just has to be long enough to hold it in, and you just put a couple of those every so often, and it stops them from being able to lift up that fence. So, in fact, I might just go ahead. I might go ahead and do that, since I noticed that fence is up. It wasn't really up last year. The ground changes a little bit from year to year. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick before I go to work. But yeah, let me turn off the electric fence here. But yeah, everything looks pretty good out here. And you just really have to keep an eye on your garden every day. You can't take the gardener out of the garden, no matter what you do, right? You have to spend some time on it. All right, I'm gonna talk to you all later and get this garden fence staple in before it starts raining. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.